G'day viewers and welcome to another increasingly irregular episode of PB's Retro Restorations. First up, I'd like to say welcome to any new viewers, thanks for taking a punt on my channel, and welcome back to all my regular viewers wherever you may be in the world. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it. Okay, this week I'm doing this rare Micro Models Ford Customline that is part of my Uncle Phil's collection. Micro Models was a brand of the manufacturer Goodwood Australia, founded in 1952 by John and Joyce Goodchild in Victoria. And they made a range of Holdens, trucks, all sorts of stuff. Some better than others, some look really good, some maybe not so. They sadly closed their doors in 1961 and their scarcity today makes them very collectible, i.e. expensive, to collect today. My granddad Ron had a Customline star model himself back in the day. He even raced it at a few hill climbs when he could, so it must have been exciting for him and Uncle Phil to be able to purchase this diecast. Uncle Phil had this from new, especially being made in Victoria where they lived, because Lord knows after trucks, cars and the Geelong Cats, Victoria was the greatest place on all of the earth apparently, or so they would constantly remind me. Must be why they moved to Queensland, right viewers? Anyway, let's get crack-a-lackin', as they say, on this very special diecast. Okay, so this one might be an oddity to my overseas viewers. It's a Micro Models Ford Customline, made in Australia in the 1950s. This is one from my Uncle Phil's collection. Now, the reason I'm redoing this one is because someone's had a go at repainting it, and I know exactly who had a go at repainting it. It was my dad. He was restoring an FX Holden Ute, and he was painting it this purple colour, and I remember them having leftover paint for it, and not sure you can get reproduction tyres for these, so thankfully it's got all its tyres. And they still seem fairly pliable, which is good. They're like an early dinky, really. Got quite a detailed... The base appears to be die-cast as well as the top. Pretty crude model. I mean, if your taillight's nothing like a Customline's, but anyway. Oh, that's not a good sign. Shit. That post just crumbled off. This one's the same. I hope I don't regret doing this one, viewers. Oh, here we go. Well, that's really it, viewers, so. I know what you're all screaming at the TV right now. PB, you should be putting them in hot water, and you're probably right, but they do feel that pliable. Like they're not even close to being dried out. And I don't think they ever bought... I don't think Uncle Phil ever bought replacement tyres for this. They do have Micro Models stamped in the sides of them, so... They're a little bit loose on there, so... I would love to get those off there and clean them up, viewers, but if I break them, we're stuffed. The rear suspension, there isn't any, but as you saw on the turntable, the rear sits real low, like there should have been something in here. One side looks like it's got like a pin, and the other side must have snapped off, but it's Kind of want to fix that too. Righto. Yeah, what a great idea, PB. Grab them with your pliers. See if we can't just completely destroy them. Thankfully, common sense prevailed. My brain kicked in and I went another route before I ruined them. Oh, they're actually coming off real easy, viewers. Well, this is my attempt at not wasting so much paint stripper, viewers. Oops. Oh. I'll tell you what, viewers, I thought that lid was never coming off. Now I'm going to try the tyres in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm hoping that'll be enough to shake the paint loose that's off them. And it did for the most part. So the pitting on this casting was pretty bad, and it was starting to bubble up, as old diecast will do sometimes, especially when it's of low quality mix. So I sanded it back as best I could, but as a viewer mentioned to me on the Dodge Royal video, I mean, how far do you go? I made it better than it was, but it didn't completely remove all of it. I mean, they're pretty rough casting from new, so you don't want to distort too much of history, do you? Excuse me. I wonder, viewers, if I could 3D print something to fit around the axles to keep it nice and level again. Or do I just grind that little piece out and stick a bit of metal in, like glue a bit of metal down in there, and not sure. So as you can see, viewers, I've opted to go with the pale cream colour. I believe this is pretty close to the original colour. I don't think it was a pure white. I have seen some online that were a pure white. I kind of like the off cream a bit better. But one thing they did have in common was a red roof. So I'm going to mask it off and do that. These vehicles are so hard to find. It was hard to find reliable images of original paint jobs. A lot of the ones I saw online that claimed to be original, they look like they'd been repainted to me. It was particularly hard to find images of how they originally detailed. I know some of them look like they had the taillights painted just silver. I saw some that had silver and some red dots on them, and deciding what was right, well, you'll see what I went with. Oh, it's just dribbling now. I have to touch it up in a couple of spots, viewers. But on whole, it's pretty good. And then I'll clear coat it with some flat coat just to dull the whole thing down. So I had a go at these and I wasn't real pleased with how they were coming along, and then I saw Martin Dare, who needs no introduction from me to you seasoned diecast YouTube enthusiasts, but he used one of these little plastic bristle brushes after putting a wire hand brush to them, and they came up $1 million, and they were wire wheels. So I'm figuring this, I'm going to give it a go on these and see. No reason it shouldn't work for me as well, but you know, best laid plans and all that. So you know it's not a proper PB video until I start doing something dodgy, and this is this video's moment. I thought I'd just knock a bit of wood in there in the end. I tried lots of different bits and pieces and media and like plastic and little brass tubing. This is what I went for in the end. It was simple and it worked. And yes, I'm well aware that it's a small miracle that by knocking that bit of wood in there I didn't just smash the base into 2 pieces, so let's be grateful for it. That it didn't happen, that is. I know that looks dodgy, viewers, but it's not dodgy if it works, right? I'm just super gluing a screw on here to give me somewhere to put my little alligator clip on while I paint it. As I mentioned before, and you might have seen when I took the tape off, I got a little bit of overspray. I always miss a little bit of a hole somewhere when I'm doing this, and thankfully with this flat paint it's going to be reasonably easy to cover up. As I said earlier, it was hard to find reference photos for the silver detailing on these cars that looked authentic to factory. This green one looked pretty good. You can see the top half of the back of the fins is painted, but not the bottom. Others I found went all the way from the top down to the bumper. That's what I've chosen to do here. You micro model experts out there, let me know if I made a mistake. I'm pretty sure I probably have, but I'm all ears. Can't seem to get all the paint off these viewers. They've even got some remnants of the original white paint. They're pretty clean, they look pretty good, and because these tyres are, Shane, if you're watching, I'm sure you might have a source for reproductions, but a couple of these might look like they've been replaced, but they're so rare and hard to get that I'm not going to take the punt of trying to clean them anymore. If I wreck them, I'm stuffed. I got lucky here with the base viewers. It pushed on firmly enough to be a good hold without using any glue or screws and all that sort of stuff. I wasn't going to glue it in case I want to pull this one apart and revisit the accuracy of my restoration at a later date. And just like that, as if by magic, with no grief whatsoever, of course, as per usual, we are done, viewers. Hooray! Okay, viewers, here we are back at the start with Uncle Phil's well-loved Ford Customline, a car that's exceedingly difficult to get a model of for years, especially in a four-door. I believe this was the only four-door Customline model available for a long time until Trax brought their resin one out, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm probably not. Anyway, a well-intentioned but not very good paint job is really the worst thing wrong with this one. Thankfully all the tyres were there, the wheels were there, the body wasn't bashed in because Lord knows there are no parts for these things as far as I know. Anyway, this is what we started with, and this, dear viewer, is what we're left with now. Ta-da! Wacky Doodle's looking $1 million now. Well, certainly better than it did. You can't really get around the basic quality of the casting in the first place with this one, viewers. It's not a great casting of its subject. The front is quite detailed, looking good, but then from there they kind of dropped the ball. The tail lights non-existent, the door lines are straight up and down. It's a little bit weird, but it is the only Ford Customline model you could buy for a long time, and for that we should be thankful. I know Uncle Phil treasured this one because of that fact, because, you know, because Granddad had one. You know, I've been making a point of not restoring cars from Uncle Phil's childhood collection, but this one, it had already been repainted and it deserved a lot better, and it meant so much to Uncle Phil that I knew he would like to see this one treated better. So anyway, I hope you like this video, viewers, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching to the end. If you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, check out some of my other videos, and please consider subscribing, and don't forget to click the bell for alerts. That way you too can be swept away to a world of PB magic like thousands of others before you from right across the globe every time a new video hits the information superhighway that is the interwebs. All that stuff helps to keep the channel going, and I value all of your support. Special shout out to everybody who commented and let me know that they would like to see a how I make decals video, and I am working on that as we speak. By the time I do it, maybe I'll have worked out if it's decal or decal. I already worked that out and already answered that question, so long story short, don't worry about it. Alright, well, have a great weekend, a safe weekend, and I hope to see you all next time right here on what some people have called the greatest show on all the internet, PB's Retro Restorations. Bye!